Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check, mic check. Hello and welcome to the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. Mic check, mic check. Hello and welcome to the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship here in Moosa Stadium. I'm Aman Patel here giving you live coverage, streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming sponsor, Smart Choice Houston. Again, it's a lovely day here in Pearland, Texas, as we get set to kick off, again, this Women's National Championship, sponsored brilliantly by Sistar Mortgage. 88 degrees here, and you would say a rather cool day considering what it usually gets here in Houston, Texas. The high is expected to be 92 degrees, and it should make it for a good day of cricket, as some clouds might even cool out the skies as well. We're set to see the East take on the West here, the Eastern Zone take on the Western Zone, as the Western Zone, led by their captain, Sidhu Shiransha, won the toss and they elected to bowl first, so we'll get to see the Eastern side with the bat. Eastern captain, of course, the young Geetika Kodali. And we'll see the umpires start to make their way on to the field now. Again, we'll read off these playing 11s here for the Eastern Zone. Like we said, the captain, Geetika Kodali, the vice captain, Lisa Ramjit. You also have Bhumika Badiraju, Disha Dingre, Jessica Willandgamuyu, Kasturi Vendanam, Mitali Patwardhan, who will be keeping wickets, Moksha Chowdhury, Shibani Bhaskar, Taranam Chopra, and Aditi Chudasama. For the Western Conference, Sindhu Sriharsa, of course the captain and the wicketkeeper, Mahika Kandalana, Anika Kolan, Ishani Vaghela, Lasya Malapudi, Sai Tanmaya Ayuni, Sugita Kaliyaranam, Suhani Tadani, Usma Iftihar, and Yashaditi Teki. That is your playing 11 for both sides at this beautiful stadium in Pearland, Texas. Again, streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming sponsor, Smart Choice Houston, to kick off this Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket National Championship. Again, the Eastern Conference will be getting things going with the bat. Both sides there in the middle, ready to get play underway. Again, official start time at 10 o'clock here, Central Standard Time. We hope that wherever you're watching this, you're ready to see some excellent women's cricket here from these two sides. Again, no real consequence from wins and losses, but The Western Conference last year did hold the lead and did claim victory against the East, and there's a sense of pride, and I'm sure they're going to want to hold out through once again in this year's national championship. And this is the selection trials for the women's senior team here in the USA. A lot of youngsters going to be playing as well. A lot of members of that under-19 team that we just saw rather recently in the Windward Islands, as they won that series over there. So it should be an exciting day of cricket. I think the umpires, realizing what time it is, have just elected to give the players 2 minutes to themselves. Again, we'll get things going in 2 minutes' time here. Those of you just joining us, the Western Conference, they won the toss, and they're electing to bowl first. And the umpires are ready to get things underway. The two opening bats, Arnam Chopra and Jessica Willand Gamuyua. They're in the middle for that Eastern Conference. And Jessica going to be more known for what she did with the ball in the women's regionals. Had that brilliant inning, 6 for 6. And we'll get to see more of her throughout the day. But she's going to get things started with the bat along with Arnam Chopra, who was to bat as we get things going. Again, Arnam Chopra back here a week ago at the Sistar Women's Regional Championships of 2022, scoring 50 to a high score of 31. And there are the first runs for the Eastern Conference. Snigged up ball, getting things going for the Western Conference with ball in hand. Part of that under-19 setup as well. Went to the Windward Islands and had one of maybe the all-time deliveries there. Swung in quite a ways back, crashing on the stumps. And we have two T20s in store for the day. Both will be here at Moosa Stadium. Both played with these two sides. And again, while there is no official consequence or reward for wins and losses, the Western Conference would hope to hold themselves over the East. As this one is worked off of the pads of Arnam Chopra. They should come back for two, and they will. The first run's off the bat as Arnam Chopra gets off the mark there. Very good player, technically sound. This time worked into the offside. And there's going to be a chance for the run out. It's the wrong end there. Jessica was well away to the striker's end, and Arnam was never really interested in that run. Ends up being a single in the end, so we'll get to see our first look at Jessica Wilantagamuya. Again, going to be more known for what she did with the ball in that Sistar Mortgage Regionals here at Moosa Stadium a week ago. Went 6 for 6. Left-hand top order bat. Gonna get things started for the Eastern Conference. with 2 balls left in this first over. Jessica, based in the Atlanta area, plays a lot of cricket over there. Again, has become a really good cricketer for the USA. A good prospect for them as well. Was the #1 player in all of the Sistar Women's Regionals rankings here in 2022, #1 in player rankings. And she will end off that first over with a dot ball at the end of 1 over. The Eastern Conference, therefore, without loss. At the culmination of this tournament, the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championships, there will be a trophy presented to the winning side, and again, the Western Conference took it home last year. They look for a repeat. This tournament, of course, will play part in the selection process of the qualifiers for the Global T20 happening later this year. As we see a new bowler coming in to the attack. It's Suhani Thadani. Suhani, of course, with one of the 2 players with brothers who are on the USA circuit as well. Dave Thadani plays in minor league cricket for the Silicon Valley Strikers. As this one will be a feathered edge, and it'll be between the keeper and first slip, and the first boundary comes on the board. Taranam Chopra gets things going. Again, just a little bit over. Just found a little bit of an outside edge. She's not going to be too happy with that shot. Again, it just fell short if you take a look. Just fell short of that fielder at first slip, and again, just between the keeper and the fielder. And you can see the captain telling first slip just to get a little bit closer. As this one starts a little bit straighter. This one angled in once again. It's a good start here for Thadani. You can see her right around that off stump. She just gets some angle into that right-hander. She debuted in 2021 for the USA, just at the age of 15. Made her debut against the Brazil women's side. As this one is chopped on, and that's going to be wicket #1. You could see that Suhani Thadani was just staying around that off stump. And this time just a little bit too close to cut. Finds the bottom edge, and Taranam Chopra has to go. Just getting ready to say that Thadani is taking 8 international right around that off stump. She just gets some angle into that right. As this one is chopped on, and that's going to be wicket #1. Thadani, you can see her right around that off stump. I was just going to say that Suhani Thadani has taken 8 international wickets throughout her 5 innings in international cricket, and There it is, wicket number 1, and wicket for the Western Conference. Moves the score to 8 for the loss of 1, with 1 ball remaining here in this second over. And that'll bring out the vice captain, Lisa Ramjit. Again, very storied cricketer here for the USA. Out of the D.C. area, just 17 years of age. Debuted for the USA in the 2019. This one just angled into the pads. It's a good start here for Sudhani Tadani. That ends the second over. 8 for the loss of 1. Lisa Ramjit at the non-strikers and debuted for the USA in Fort Lauderdale versus the Canadian women in 2019. Known for her bowling, but has really made strides with the bat. Again, just 17 years of age. It's so impressive what she's done. As Snigdha Paul comes back and starts square away onto the pads of Jessica. You just take a look at this. It's just straying down the leg side, but the angle that Snigdha Paul gets, it's back away from the right-hander. Just going to keep Jessica honest when trying to work it into the leg side. This one again straight and worked into the leg side. It's going to be into the gap. They're going to go ahead and just settle for the 1. Good work out there by the fielder at middle. Again, we'll bring Lisa Ramjit back on to strike. She played 3 innings in the Sistar Women's Regionals just last week. 37 runs she scored. 21 was her high score. Rankings. This one is full and it's worked beautifully into the covers. That's a glorious way to get off the mark. Lisa Ramjit with a 4 through the covers. Snigdha Paul just getting a little bit too full. And Lisa Ramjit meets it on the full. And anytime you give her a width, she will take advantage. Good driver of the ball, and you can see it right there on full display. This one again whipped into the covers, but just to the fielder. Again, that time just pull the length back, Snigdha Paul. This one, big shout. It's better delivery that from Snigdha Paul. Pulls the length back and, again, just gets Lisa Ramjit to reach out. Just goes inside the bat. Again, that angle. And now we see the captain back up to the stumps. This one strays onto the legs. A little bit of a misfield there at backwards square. I'm going to allow them to come back for 2. And while we get this little short break in play, and now the short break in play ends. That's 3 overs gone. 15 for the loss of 1. just want to mention Snigdha Paul. Had a great article written about her in a local Dallas newspaper. She plays softball for the school. As you see the families of all these young women looking to make their way on to the USA side. Snigdha Paul plays softball, and of course you see her playing cricket here. That article in the local Dallas newspaper was great to read. She talked about how her maybe $1 million arm people would be expecting as we head into this fourth over. Sahani Thadani, after taking that initial wicket of Dharnam Chopra, is now bowling to Jessica Willithagamua. As this one is worked into the leg side, in the gap, and it's just running away at the moment. Going to settle out, and they're going to go and take, looks like 3 runs. They're able to score it away. So again, good running. Ends up getting 2 from it. They were thinking about the third. Good work from the fielder coming from mid-wicket. And now we're going to have a change in field. There's no slip. And they moved her to short mid-wicket, and they've taken that mid-wicket fielder out into the deep. So Suhani stays straight. There's a fielder that offers protection. This one is pushed straight back, and that's a great shot down. It's going to beat mid-off, and it's going to hit the rope. 4 runs for Jessica. It's a good shot there. Again, she likes anything full, likes to drive. You can see it there with some width on offer. Just evades Lisa Ramjit and evades a fielder at mid-off as well. 4 more for the Eastern Conference. This one pulled the length back a bit. Jessica was committed onto the front foot early. Just looking to run it. As well as the captain Sindhu. Keeping up at the stumps, just making sure Jessica can't use her feet. Has to be rooted into her crease. And that one. Seen anytime width on off. The batters, whether it be Jessica or Lisa, have taken hard through the line. Anything on stumps, been much more defensive. And another long off. Again, for that drive back. Drive down the ground, long off coming around. We'll keep it to just 1 to end that fourth over. 22 for the loss of 1. A change in bowling. Snigdha bowling 2 overs. Isani Vagela. Might have heard that last name, Vagela. He played in Zimbabwe against PNG. Took 2 wickets for 20-odd runs. And Asani Vagela coming into the attack, and she has quite a resume of her own. Debut as well against Brazil at just 15 years of age. You can see just with that wrist gets to move away from the left. That one, a Yorker dug out by Jessica. Good start. Consistent. Again, has that angle away. And it almost feels as if she's how accurate she is and the way that wrist just pops forward. She's just picking the spot where she wants to pitch it. This one pushed out wide. And you're going to want to see your start a little bit closer to stumps. That width was left alone, but any bat on that, it feels as if it's going to move away past point. Width, and it's pushed away through the offside. Fielders are going to give chase. Not sure they're going to get there, and they won't. 4 more. We talked about it earlier. She's a very good driver of the ball. Anytime width is on offer, she's going to take advantage. This time splitting the gap between extra cover and mid-off. 4 more for the Eastern Conference. This one again wide and not going to quite be as well timed. Just sliced away into the gap for 1. Asani starting with 3 consecutive dot balls with that boundary. Just kind of easing things out for the Eastern Conference. To end the over as well. 5 overs, 7 runs on the board, 1 wicket down. And we'll see who they bring on from the. Again, saw 2 overs of Suhani Tadani. We'll see if spin in the final over power play. A pace bowler. As you can see, members of that USA staff, and of course, none more celebrated than the new head coach for the women's side, Shivanarayan Chanderpal, the West Indian legend. And they'll be looking closely at all these ladies. All these women who are out there trying to make a name for themselves, trying to make that squad that will compete for a spot in the qualifier for the Global T20. As they bring on Uzma Iftihar. And they will bring on spin for this final over of the power play. And right away into the block hole. A little bit of an adjustment in the field. They bring in the deep mid wicket. They've sent out a cover fielder and still that long off in the deep. as this one's chipped straight back, and it's just going to be over the head of Uzma. Nearly the wicket there, looking for the Western Conference. Usma Iftihar, who's played international cricket. He's taken 9 wickets in 9 innings at a 3.51 economy. This one is swept away here from Lisa Ramjit. It's going to be to the fielder out there, who was stationed at cover for Jessica, but just stood in her spot at deep mid-wicket. Side of Lisa Ramjit. He's looking to punch it off the back foot, maybe even between slip, or maybe the gooder. Again wide, this time slash, but straight to backward point. And you can see Uzma leaning on her experience. She just wants to change the angle on Lisa Ramjit. Sees that she's playing these big shots. Showed the sweep earlier. Then showed these big lushing cuts and drives. I think just wants to change the angle. Try to keep her honest. A packed leg side field as the long off comes in. They send out a deep backward square. And it's pushed straight back and nowhere to go. That's going to do it for the power play. 30 for the loss of 1. It is a pleasure to give you coverage, streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming sponsor, Smart Choice Houston. Here for the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. Remember, the Western Conference won the toss. They elected to bowl. Isani Vagela to continue. Had a good first over, started with 3 dots. Then just gave Jessica a little bit too much width. Let's hit for 4. Ended up giving 5 runs from her first over. This one right on that Yorker length. Again, if she is going to give that width, you want her to be there. You save and pull the length back. Just be on that good length where the angle across. Maybe find an outside edge. And this one well outside Jessica's arc. You can see the plane here from Isani. Just going to keep it wide of Jessica, make her reach out. Enhance protection, add extra cover. And at long off. So anything on the offside, so just pushing it across. This one hits straight back and it's through Isani's legs. Fielders at long off and long on converging. And we get to see Lisa Ramjit, and we didn't get to talk about this in her previous over. But Lisa to Isani was standing on off stump for one delivery. And you can see she's back over there. Maybe now just on middle. This one just pushed into the offside. And again, Lisa's made a lot of progress with the bat. Has played international cricket since 2019. Has 22 runs in 3 innings, but since that initial appearance in international cricket, the batting has greatly improved. As this one is another nice cover shot. Just one good work from the inside circle. But you can see very early on, Lisa Ramjit, she's looking to play those drives into the offside. Looking to be positive. As this time Jessica goes through mid-wicket. And Lisa Ramjit wants to, and they're going to go push for it. And they get it done. Good running this from the Eastern Conference. You know, you got to be quick between the wickets. Always looking to score runs here in T20 cricket. 7 overs gone. 34 for the loss of 1. Just the 1 over of Uzma Iftihar. We're going to get to see a change in bowling. Looks like it's going to be Yashaditi Teki to come in the bowl, the right arm medium pacer. In her 3 innings bowling just a week ago in the regionals. Took 2 wickets at a 5 economy. And we see Sindhu keeping up. Trying to keep Lisa in her crease. This one starts straight right on stumps. And again, you can see a little bit of an angle back into the right-hander. If she starts out on off stump, she could really find some success again, especially against Lisa Ramjit, who's looking to play those big drives. This time slashed away and just a backward point. And if Yoshidi don't want to give any room to Lisa Ramjit, she scored all of her runs there. Played a couple of shots into the leg side, but anything on off stump, runs have been hard to come by. This one is an absolute loosener. It's hit up in the air, and it looks like it's just missed by that cover fielder in the deep. And it's going to be 4 runs. And you take a look at this. It's just lobbed all the way up. Lisa gets onto it quickly and just couldn't cover. And that is also a no ball. So Lisa Ramjit given a free hit. And unable to get onto it. Good comeback delivery this from Yashaditi. Kept it right on stumps. Lisa just trying to go across the line. Couldn't find bat on ball. Again, while it is 92 degrees right now, humidity is very high. So just maybe struggling to grip it as long off and log on are sent back. This one just a push. Lisa's shown good timing already through her innings. Just 17 balls old. I haven't really seen her try to overhit the ball, apart from the free hit. Everything else, she's just been timing. Even that sweep to Uzma, he's just timed it through the leg side. This one right on off stump. We said it time and time again. Anything on off stump, runs have been hard to come by. Both these batters like width, like to play those drives through the offside. Will throw their hands at anything outside off stump. Anything on the stumps, they've just been pretty defensive. There's width, and it's found an inside edge. Just evades stumps, and these two are going to come back for two. That's good running this from Lisa Ramjit and Jessica Willethagamua. And that'll do it for the 8th over. 42 for loss of 1. And we will see a change in bowling. We will see Sai Tanmai Ayuni. Right arm leggy into the attack. Was part of that windward, that tour of the Windward Islands with the USA Under-19. And on offer, just spins a little bit too much. She took a wicket in her 2 innings down there in the Windward Islands as a part of that USA Under-19 squad. As this one's just pushed into the offside. Last week, 2 innings, 2 wickets, 4.75 economy. The 15th overall ranked bowler. As this one is cut from Lisa Ramjit, it's going to find sweeper cover. And you can see the captain, Sindhu Shaharsa, very active in setting the field. Has played a lot of cricket. Understands the angles and how to attack certain batters. How to give her bowlers the best opportunity to take wickets and be economical. This one flighted up and it's beat everything, and it looks like Jessica's going to be gone, stumped. Again, we were just talking about the experience of Sindhu Shaharsa. And that time the googly comes out, spins away, and Jessica caught out of her crease. And just take a look at this. It's flighted up quite a ways here from Ayuni. Just spun away. Looked like she might have also edged it. And just waiting the official word of how it was dismissed. Judging by her reaction, she felt as if she was out. Take a look right away. She knew she was gone. Never tried to get her feet back. The official verdict is she's out stumped. And that's going to bring out her new bat, Mithali Partwardhan. She'll come into the middle here in this 9th over. Mithali, of course, from Mooresville, North Carolina. Plays her cricket there. A wicketkeeper bat. Part of that Windward Islands Under-19 tour. This one's just going to be well wide. Okay, but you can see good turn here for Ayuni. Both directions, spinning it quite well. So good signs for all the spinners here today. This one just jumps up and finds the outer half of the bat. This one again, just run down the third man, but just gonna find the fielder. It's tight stuff here from a uni. Giving flight and getting turn. Again, daring the batters to hit those big shots. Haven't seen any yet. There's one that just down the leg side, just helped along its way. Gonna be just one run. Good work there from the captain, Sindhu Sarsa. That's gonna do it. 9 overs gone. 46 for the loss of 2. It'll bring back Yashaditi Te, who apart from the one no ball, just gave up 8 runs from it, and again, 5 of those runs coming from the no ball 4. To take away that one delivery, just 3 runs. Again, kept everything right around off stump. But now she'll be bowling in to Mitali Partwardhan. This one just pushed into the offside. Good work. And gonna be out. We'll see which one is gonna go. Mitali Partwardhan was off in a hurry. Lisa Ramjit was never interested. You can see Mitali just upset with herself. Never hesitated. As soon as she hit it, she was off and going. That one-handed pickup, I think, just surprised both. And Lisa just kind of got stranded in the middle. Again, just pushes it through the covers, and she's off. And you see Sindhu Saharsa just making the clear call. Never an easier run out. And Lisa Ramjit has to go. She's not going to be happy with that. 15 from 19. 46 for the loss of 3 now. And you can still see Mitali Partwardhan. She's just upset with herself. And if you're Mitali, you got to get that out of your head pretty quickly. You've seen oftentimes in international cricket, the run-outs just affect how you play your innings. Namely in India's tour of Australia, that test series where Ajinkya Rahane runs out Virat Kohli. And that match, Ajinkya Rahane later just never could get that run out of his head and just threw his wicket away. That match ended up culminating with the 36 all out. As Disha Dingre comes in and gets off the mark straight away. Again, pretty similar circumstances to what Mitali tried to do. Just that ball ago that led to the run out of Lisa Ramjit. But nevertheless, on the mark. This one is just pushed into the offside, straight to the fielder. And the Western Conference would be happy taking 2 quick wickets, and Jessica and Lisa, both set batters. 2 brand new bats into the middle. This one looked to cut, and Mitali has to go. Just looking to slash at that one, play it behind point. All she could do was feather it back to the skipper, Sindhu Saharsa. And that's the 4th wicket, the 2nd wicket in the over. Take a look. It's just tossed out wide and it's fine. The outside edge. Immediacy from the umpire. And the 4th wicket goes. Again, never a doubt with that decision. Felt like Matali Patwardhan knew it pretty quickly. The umpire's finger raises in a hurry. That's the second wicket to go in the over. We talk about two brand new bats. Another new bat brought out into the middle. And Yashadeti Teki just picking up where she left off in that previous over. Right around the off stump. Again, a couple of ones that are a little wider. The new bat into the middle. Aditi Tujasama. Right on that off stump. Just pushed away. A good over this for the Western Conference. 10 overs gone. 47 for a loss of 4. And the leg spinner going to continue. Sayuni. Remember, had the wicket of Jessica with a Gamua in the previous over. Got out stumped. And again, the wicketkeeper, the captain, Sindhu Saharsa, just has something to do with every wicket, it feels like. And she'll be bowling into Disha Dingre. That one turn and bounce on offer. Talked about it time and time again. She's turning it quite a well a ways away from the right-hander. As this one just met on the full, right to the fielder, short mid-wicket. Disha was part of that USA under-19 team that went to take on the Windward Islands under-19 just a couple of weeks ago, as this one's chipped up and just over the top of cover. That just got under it a bit. Struck it well enough to get it over. It would have been a sensational one-handed catch. But instead it brings Aditi Tujasama on to strike here. This one finds the outer half of the bat. Again, that's a great length here from Sayuni. Just getting the batter to reach out. That length, anything can really happen. This one just striking down the leg side and worked into the leg side. Just going to settle for one. Brings Disha Dhingra back into strike. In her 2 innings against the Windward Islands under-19, scored 46 runs. Had a strike rate of 82. This one is pushed straight back down the ground. Just going to get one. And that'll do it. 11 overs gone. 50 for the loss of 4. Again, you can see the USA Brain Trust. Head coach Shivnarayan Chandrapal. Julie Abbott. Bert Cockley, who is the coach for this national championship. This Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. 11 overs old, 50 runs on the board. And we're streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming sponsor, Smart Choice Houston. As we get to see the off spinner come back into the attack. Usma Iftihar. First over just went for 3 runs. As this one's just pushed away through the offside. They're going to go ahead and get 2. Again, Moosa playing international cricket for the USA. This one is just pushed to cover. A little bit of a misfield. They're going to get the waif with 1. And good sharp work from Sindhu Saharsa, showing off her skills with a glove. That throw fired in. Had to jump up one-handed. Sindhu Saharsa looking like what DeAndre Hopkins used to do for the local Houston Texans in the NFL. This one just tucked into the leg side. Good sharp running this. Gonna go ahead and get. And these two, knowing boundaries are hard to come by. Gonna look for every opportunity to get 1. You mentioned Usma Iftihar has played international cricket, has 9 international wickets. This one again just pushed into the offside. And we saw this in her first over. The fine delivery of the over going to come from a different angle. She's going to come from around the wicket. So we worked into the offside, but straight on. 54 for the loss of 4. Welcome back into this 13th over here in the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. We're streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming sponsor, March Choice Houston. And I've been in the box all day, but I'm joined by a legend. The man who has just been named the coach of the USA's women's national team. Man who scored a lot of runs in the West Indies in his own right. Mr. Shivnarayan Chandrapal, welcome into the box.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Or morning. Yeah, actually a beautiful outfield, beautiful ground, and pleasant day so far. Hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, one of the cooler days that we've seen in Pearland, Texas. Only 90 degrees today.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's lovely out there. Yeah, and the girls are playing pretty well out there also. I've seen Sai is extracting a lot of bounce on the wicket. I've not seen that in a long time from a leg spinner, but she's getting a lot of bounce and turn out there, which is really good.
And that'll do it for the 13th over. 58 for the loss of 4. And Shiv, you've been recently announced as the coach of the U.S. women's national team. What has impressed you so far with the pathway for all these women's to come in and try to make these national teams?
Um, they've been playing a few tournaments. We had the regionals and then they had the interregionals before that. The girls are pretty much talented, and there obviously a few areas to work on, but definitely could improve and get better. And they all want to learn, which is a good sign. But we just need to make sure that we have things in place to help them and help them to move forward.
As we see Uzma Iftihar back into the attack to bowl her third over. You recently traveled with the USA Women's Under-19 team to the Windward Islands. How was that experience? Women there, how was that experience as your first tour as the head coach?
Well, I went there for the first time. I never know what to expect from the girls, but they came out there and surprised everyone, even to myself. The level of cricket they played was really good, and it showed out there when all the other teams did not expect much from us, and the girls were able to go out there and win that tournament for us, which made a hell of a difference to everyone in the Caribbean. To now keep an eye on the USA women's and the 19 girls, because they are not it's not that easy. It's a little force to deal with, and we have to make sure that we keep improving and get better.
Get some tight stuff so far from the Western Conference. You talked about the spin and bounce on offer. What has impressed you so far with some of these bowlers that's come out and really kept the reins down on the Eastern Conference?
Well, with Saija, there's a lot of bounce and turn from her. I've not seen that in a while from a lot of leg spinners around, because a lot of them try to bowl a lot quicker because of T20 cricket. But she tends to she hangs it a little more out there, and that gives her the spin, and then on top of that she was able to get more bounce. It makes a difference on flat pitches when you have a spinner who can generate those things for you. It's not that easy to hit, and she will create a lot of opportunities, but we also need to take those opportunities.
And that'll do it for 14 overs. 61 for the loss of 4.
And the off spin also, she's bowling the next end, and she's been varying our pace well on our lines. So she's been mixing well and trying to keep it as tight as possible, and that is what you need in this format. You need that was her goal, and that is what she's been trying to get every overs. And look at the score. Yeah, I mean they're struggling to push the score along because of the spinners.
Yeah, and the beauty about this kind of tournament, we see Uzma Iftihar, who's played a lot of international cricket, 9 innings, and then you see a woman like Esani Vagelo, who is just 16 years of age, made her debut at 15. How impressive is it to see these young ladies compete with all these ladies who've had abundance of experience?
That's the beauty about it. These girls are so young, and they got a lot of talent. You just have to, you know, put the right program in place for them, make them better, make them stronger and fitter, and sharpen up on their skills some more. And they already have most of it, so we just have to make sure that we can get the other stuff in place and to help them go to the next level.
So this one just pushed back down for one. Again, you obviously carry a lot of experience, a pedigree. Everyone in the USA would have known about Shivnarayan Chandrapal. How do you think you can use your pedigree and your experience to kind of just relate these onto these cricketers as they try to make their jump to the next level?
Well, the good thing about that, you see these girls listens and they listen well and they want to learn, right? That will definitely help. Um, you just have to make sure that whatever program we set out and whatever areas that I identify some of the areas already that we need to work on. Just have to put the drills in place for them, and also some specific area to work on to make them better, so they can, whenever they get out there, they can execute a little better.
This one just pushed away. And again, sharp fielding from the
They've been bowling pretty tight so far. I mean, yeah, the bowling is pretty good. And I mean, the girls are not accustomed playing too much on turf pitches. It makes a difference to adjust to that. We need to hopefully get them to play more on turf pitches, so we could, they can adjust their game according to turf pitches. And this is what they are going to be doing more in the future. So we have to actually get them on more turf pitches.
This one just pushed out a little too wide. You have spent some time in Florida, been around that Fort Lauderdale wicket. You've seen that wicket here, this wicket in Moosa. How do you think the uproar of these turf wickets, one in Mooresville, North Carolina, one now in the Bay Area, how do you think that helps elevate the game for all cricket here in the United States?
Well, like I said, we definitely need more turf pitches on these girls to practice on. And the one out in Fort Lauderdale there, similar to this, not that much bounce. I mean, if if you have more pace, probably have a little more bounce on it. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty much the same. So you need to get accustomed to it. The girls been playing a lot on AstroTurf, where they stand up a lot and hit the ball. These wickets, you have to stay a little lower. You have no choice. You got to be a little lower to make contact and hit the ball where you want to hit it. And I guess more they play on it, more they get accustomed to it, better they be able to adjust the game towards turf pitches.
And that'll be the end of 64 runs on the board. Are the Eastern Conference. They're going to want to get a move on at the moment. Being around these women's in both the regionals and now here in the nationals, there's a sense of pride and a sense of unity between all these ladies, even when competing against one another. How exciting is that to see that everyone's looking to just lift each other up? There doesn't seem to be anyone who's just trying to be negative and bring people down.
That's the beauty about these girls. They all know each other very well. They communicate a lot, and they make plans for everything. they have plans for even they're gonna play a little friendly game or a little handball game, anything they play, they make plans for everything, and that's a good thing about them. Um, it helps like if you playing in a match, they come ahead and make plans, putting things in place for the next day. So when they get out there, they don't have to think too much. Maybe you have a plan A, you have a plan B, maybe a plan C also. Um, and these are the things that would help you on the field when you get out there. You don't have to worry too much about what next to do. You're always ahead of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. That culture and that team chemistry, and it's why a lot of teams see themselves over the line, even if you're a less talented side. If you have that culture there, you can always find your way out of tough spots.
Yeah, they're pretty much close. They're very close with each other, and they have fun between themselves, which is very good, and they have a good team spirit, and the bonding is always there with them, which is really really good. You want to keep encouraging that and make sure that you always have that and that vibes going forward.
Yeah, this one just drifting down the leg side here for Moosa in her final over. Just giving her 12 runs, make it 13 now in her 3.3 previous. This one again just pushed down to long on.
Yeah, that was a full toss. I mean, we need to make our girls stronger. Um, I mean, if you're stronger, faster, fitter, they would be able to hit those balls in the gaps and find more boundaries. And makes a difference when you're batting out there and able to find the boundary easier. Um, I've been talking to Bert, our trainer, slash assistant coach, um, and that's one of the things he was mentioning also to me. And I look, all the teams around the world these days, all the top team around the world, the girls, I've seen them in the gym, and I've seen them with the programs go out and do a lot of and making themselves strong enough to make shots that a guy would probably make. And these girls are able now to some of the team that are able to hit the balls up in the stands. And this is what we need to make sure that we get our girls up to that level that they could make those shots. That was a good shot just now from this show. Yeah, she was able to push that over extra cover. And see, if we get them strong enough, they will be able to make more of those shots, and that's what we want to get them to. So we want to get them up to that level that when they step out in that park or within the rack up to the ground, people will look at them and say, "Look, this is a proper unit. These girls look ready for anything," and we need to get them there. It got to be a level above everyone else. If you want to be one of the top team, you have to be a level. You have to be above everyone else.
And that shot again, just finding the fielder. And it looks like Sindhu has just missed the stumps there. Could have been a chance. Score sticks at 73 here in the 17th over. And Shiv, we want to thank you for your time here, talking to you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you a couple more times here throughout the week.
No problem. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely a legend of the game, Shiv Narayan Chandrapal, the women's USA national team coach. You're just having a word with me, talking about how the culture around this USA women's team has been put at a high level, and again, just looking to take things to another level. As this one is pushed into the leg side, but nowhere to go. Again, anytime you get to pick the brain of a legend of the game, it's always something that's going to help you in whatever aspects you want. I think for these women to have that opportunity, as this one just pushed out, to pick the brain of a guy like Shivnarayan Chandrapal, it's a great thing for their development. Talking about development, Snigdapal, who's coming into bowl the 17th over. That was just the first one she gave up in her third over here. Again, plays softball for her high school team, a native to the Texas area. And you can see she's just throwing outside that ump, daring the two batters to just reach out and play those shots. Again, right now the Western Conference, they're looking to take this 1-0 lead. Try to back up what they did last year and claim the cup here in the Sistar Mortgage Women's National Championship. As this one is just going to be won. A good over this from Snigdapal. Was very nice and tight. You give anything to the Eastern Conference. At the end of 17 overs, 75 for the loss of 4. And that'll bring back on Sahani Thadani. Again, started off strong, Sahani. 2 overs, 11 runs, a wicket. Getting Taranam Chopra to chop it back on. And we've seen from the pace bowlers, anything around that length. You think of the wicket of Mitali Partwardhan. The opening wicket of Taranam Chopra. It's just been right in front of good length. Daring the batters to cut. Having a good delivery there. A little bit of a misfield. Going to allow them to get 1, and they could push for 2, and they will. The Eastern Conference has showed good running anytime they get the opportunity to do so. And again, Disha Dingre, who's played under 19 cricket for the USA. Scored 46 runs against the Windward Islands in 2 innings. Just looking to up the ante. And again, another good single. They're just going to continue to push for those ones. Try to get themselves over 100. Give something to bowl at. This one pushed to the offside, but straight to the fielder. The fielder stationed there at cover. She's been very busy. Had a lot of action over there. And it's one of the cooler days here in Pearland, Texas, and it feels like 98. This one pushed and is pushed away from that fielder at cover. Just going to be 1 out to long off. Usually around noon, it is 100 raw, and the heat index will take it up from there. But today, been a little bit fortunate. Again, it only feels like 98, which doesn't sound great. But if you spent any time in Pearland, Texas, you would definitely take it feeling like 98. Again, Sahani Thadani, so consistent. Just right outside that off stump. Hasn't given anything free to Disha Dhingra or Aditi Chudasama. Made them work for everything. This one angling back in, and it just misses the edge, just misses the off stump. Good over this from Sahani Thadani. Just gives up 4 runs, 18 overs gone, 79 for the loss of 4. It'll be interesting to see where the Western Conference selects to go. A couple of options. Yashaditi Teki, who was good in her 2 overs previous, just gave up 9 runs. Isani Vagela's bowled 3 overs. Snigdha Paul's bowled 3 overs. Looks like they are going to turn back to Snigdha. Angled in, hit back just away from her outstretched hand. Again, nice and tight. Both these two, Snigdha Paul and Sahani Tadani, the angle back in. They've kept everything outside stumps, just outside the off stump. Not giving either batter the opportunity to access the leg side. And again, a well left here in the 19th. That's not what you're going to want if you're the Eastern Conference. And you're going to want to just show a little bit more intent. Again, even if it's out there, try to just squeeze it in a gap. Try to get a run off every delivery from here. This one strays down the leg side. And Disha Dingre, part of the under-19 team, scored 38 runs in 3 innings last week at the regionals. And it's with shots like that, is put straight back just for 1. And again, she's shown flashes of the ability to play some big shots. We saw one played through extra cover, as actually Shivnarayan Chandrapal was talking about, trying to get these women a little bit more fit, able to clear these boundaries, and right on cue, she did it. This one's hit up from Aditi Chudasama, but just going to be a couple of ounces, a little bit of a misfield. Going to allow them to come back for 2. That sharp running gets Snigdha Paul a little bit upset, saying to get it back in a little quicker. But you can see some of these shots coming out from both Aditi and Disha Dhingra. And this one she just squeezed out. That's a good comeback delivery there from Snigdha. Felt as if she was getting a little bit too full under the bat. This time it goes Yorker length, and all that they do was work it to backward point. But even with that shot, you could see her trying to carve it in between short third and backward point inside the circle. This time it's up in the air again. It's in the gap. Will it find the rope? No, good work there from long off, making all the way around. Keeps it gone. 86 for the loss of 4. One over left here, and it's Sahani Tadani. And this one is going to be moved away from backward point. And we'll have the legs to get to the rope. Noah's going to fall short. Struck firmly, felt like the fielder got a hand to it. That one just sitting up for Disha Dhingra. It'll bring Aditi Chudasama on strike. Again, you saw her start to open up a little bit in that previous over. And this time a little bit of a fumble from the captain. Going to allow them to come away for 1. Again, the Eastern Conference will take any bit of runs they can get. Going to see if they can get to 100 in this final over and give their bowler something to bowl at. There is something in it for the bowlers here, so I don't think it's going to be the easiest of chases for the Western Conference. This one full and straight and just an inside edge. And he's going to be run out as well. Aditi Chudasama thought they were going to go and take that quick single. Another mix-up in the middle leads to another wicket. This time the fifth. Again, the inner half. And they both took off. And Aditi was halfway down the track before she heard the call. And that'll bring in the captain, Geetika Kodali. A well-made 16 off 30 for Aditi. Again, not the first run out we've seen today. Remember the first coming from Mitali Partwardhan. Nearly one earlier. Would have affected Disha Dhingra as well. As she's on strike now. Maneuvers it into the leg side. And it looks like Geetika Kodali nearly fell victim the same way. Geetika wanted to get on strike, and she was 3/4 down the track before she was turned back. Snigdhapal looking to fire one in, direct hit. Just misses, allows Geetika to get back. 2 deliveries left here on the 20th. And this one pushed through the offside, straight to point. A little bit of a wayward throw, going to allow them to come back for 2. Captain Sindhu not happy about that behind the stumps. And don't want to give up any free runs. Here we go, final delivery. It'll be Disha Dhingra to face it. She's 25 from 32 with a boundary to her name as well. And she hits this one straight back down the ground. Long on and long off converging. And Geetika Kodali wants to, and she's going to go and get it. For this first innings, 20 overs gone. 94 for the loss of 5. Again, Disha Dhingra going to feel disappointed. She couldn't get that one down the ground. A good final over that from Suhani Tadani. Just going for 8 runs. If you look at the batting card, Dharnam Chopra 7 off of 9 before she chops it on. And then it led to the partnership between Jessica Widathagamiyua and Lisa Ramjit. Jessica scoring 19 from 24 before being stumped off the bowling of Saya Uni. Lisa Ramjit 15 off 19, and she had a little bit of a partnership with Mitali Partwardhan. And a little bit of confusion between the two leads to the run out of Lisa. A couple of deliveries later, Mitali Partwardhan, she falls as well, caught behind. And Disha Dhingra, like we said, remains not out. 27 from 33. Aditya Chudasama, 16 off 30. Good partnership with Disha Dhingra. After 2 quick wickets fell, consolidated the innings and stabilized it. She gets run down that final over. And Geetika Kodali again 0 off 0. Just ran around a bit. And with the ball, again, a good day for the Western Conference. Snigdhapal, 4 overs, 20 runs. Wasn't able to get that wicket she was looking for. But she was good all the way through. Suhani Tadani, 4 overs, 22 runs and a wicket. Isani Vaghela, 3 overs, 12 runs. Usma Iftihar, 4 overs, 19 runs. Yeshaditi, 2 overs, 9 runs and a wicket. And Saya Uni, 3 overs, 11 runs and a wicket. So the Western Conference, they'll need 95 from their 20 overs here in the second innings. In this Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. Luckily enough to be streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming sponsor, Smart Choice Houston. We'll see you back here for the second innings in just a little bit of time. So again, the Western Conference, they'll need 95 in their 20 overs. Hello and welcome back here to Moosa Stadium here in Pearland, Texas. We're here for the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. Again, we're streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming partner, Smart Choice Houston. Getting the second innings underway. And runs immediately for the Western Conference, courtesy of an extra. 95 is what the target is, as they've sent out to come out and bat. She just stuck away on strike, as the bowler is Moosa Chowdhury. Moosa Chowdhury, of course, playing international cricket in her own right. 7 wickets across her 6 innings in women's T20 internationals. At an outstanding 3.04 economy. Right now, just struggling with the extras. You can see it just starting to move away from the right-hander, then start to come back. Just starting far too wide. This one angled in, and again, Eastern Conference going to rely on all her experience. As this one finds the inside edge onto pads. And good start here. She's found her line. Just hanging it right at 5th stump. Mika Kandala debuted for the USA in 2019. The Netherlands women's side. And had 36 runs across her 3 innings. Number 11 on the batting charts. She looked to play that cut shot, just nowhere to go. Apart from the extras, a good over here for Moosa Chowdhury. 1 over gone, 4 without loss. Welcome into this second over. We'll get to get our first look at Sugita Chandreskar. Sugita, of course, playing for the national team here in the USA. And we're going to see our first look at the left-hander, Jessica Wirathagamua. Starts off with some away swing from the right-hander. Jessica angles it in and just gets it to nip away towards the back half. Can take that outstanding 6 for 6 just last week here at Moosa Stadium. The Eastern Conference would hope Jessica can pull out another performance like that. Might need it to see over the line. This one just straying down the leg side, but forward man in a fine leg. Maybe one of the quicker bowlers here in this national championship. And she'll get her look at Mahika. This one just probing right outside stumps, and oftentimes you'll see the left-handed batters. I think for Jessica, with the away swing she gets, I think Stuart Broad to a left-hander. Just trying to do something similar. This one's chipped up and just falls short of mid-off. A little bit of a misfield. Gonna allow them to go for one. We've seen a couple of one-handed catches on the returns. One from Sindhu Srihasa, and now one from Jessica. This one, I'm going to go on to Yorker length again. Jessica, very, very tight, hard to put away. You'd have to think the Western Conference have identified her overs, as the overs they would be okay playing at 2 runs and over at, especially with this. It should have been helped down the leg side, but all she can find is Mitali Patwardhan behind the stumps, and that'll do it for the second over. 2 overs gone, 6 without loss. Moksha Chaudhary coming back in for her second over. Gave up 4 from her first. And you can see that swing back in to the right-hander. And keeps it full and lets that ball just move in the air. Then also gets nip off the wicket. It's always dangerous to play, always hard to play. Gandanala gets bad on ball and they go away for one. And I think the Western Conference understanding boundaries aren't going to flow. So you got to push for those single doubles and use that to get the bulk of your score. Bring Sugita back on to strike. Getting all 3 stumps, and again for Moksha Chaudhary, she might just change up which stump she's standing on. This one angles in, but is Mets it on the full. And that throw, just a little bit wayward, leads to overthrows, and come back for 2. You see them trying to throw at the keeper's end because of the fact the striker's off and running. The non-striker gets off to a sluggish start. Did that a delivery ago. This time just got a little bit wayward. This time that's a good delivery right outside the off stump. We saw in the first inning Suhani Thadani operate around that area. Snigdha Paul and Yashaditi Teki, all around that same area. They're very economical. Would expect to see same from the Eastern Conference. And again, the same. Just bringing out that big drive there from Sugita. No deep cover in play, just a third man in the deep and fine leg. This one pushed into the offside, and they're going to go ahead and get that quick single. And that'll do it for the third over. 10 without loss. The Western Conference at this point, just a little bit behind where the Eastern Conference was. However, the Eastern Conference at this stage of the game had already lost their first wicket. Those are always key. It always changes the games in T20. Having wickets in hands for those back overs. Just allow your batsmen a little bit more freedom. When your batters gain that freedom, they just seem to play those shots, and those shots seem to find the boundaries. This one's a full toss. It's chipped straight up, and it's straight into the hands. Is it a no ball, though, from the umpire? And yes, it's deemed as one. It looked like it from here. You just take a look on the replay. Meets it well above the waist. Top edge, and just straight. Never mind. Not given. The umpire saying that ball was dipping. She didn't meet it above her waist, but again, it's where it would pass on the stumps. They're saying that that would have passed onto stumps. And Sugita Chandrasekhar. Again, I know she would have feel that it was high and it should have been called a no ball. But she goes for just 4. 10 from the loss of 1 now. And if that wicket goes, it'll bring out a left-hander, Lasia Malupadi. And just remember, took 6 wickets just a week ago here at Moosa Stadium. She's already got her first here in the second over. As Lasia sends her back. Lasia just spins this one away. Debuted for the USA at just 16 years of age. Almost a common thing for a lot of these women in the Western Conference. She debuted against the Canadian women. As this one is pushed into the leg side. Part of that team, that under-19 team that faced the Windward Islands under-19 team. Scored 46 runs in her 3 innings there. And you can see very eager to play on the back foot. Seems to be more comfortable there. Jessica's going to keep her driving. Try to get her to play forward. Just keep her out of her comfort zone. Again, full, and this one's going to be called wide. You see Jessica there just trying to get all the way full. Trying to give her something to drive. Just swung away. That time gets her out on the front foot. Just reaching forward, and I think that's where she's going to try to keep most of her deliveries. See if she can get one to sneak back in. And this one another wide. And we saw with her innings where she was 6 for 6. Majority of those 6 runs came off of wides. and extra. So just the one thing she's going to want to control. Such a sharp bowler, promising prospect. Again, just keeping things difficult. 4 overs gone, 12 for the loss of 1. And it looks like we're going to see the 3rd over of Moosa Chowdhury. Election to go 3 overs of the national team player. He's given up just 8 runs in her 2 overs previous to this. And again, I think she's found her length. She's just trying to get Gandanala to drive and play those big drives through covers. Again, it's where Suhani Thadani was operating earlier today. This time bat on it. It was aerial. 1 bounce to backward point. The stumps broke. Again, I'm not sure had Lacia made it in her crease or if the ball even had struck it. But safe in the end is Lacia. Moosa Chowdhury will get her first look at Lacia Mulapudi. Be interesting to see the tactic. If she'll try to push it across the left-hander or keep it straight. Does elect to keep it straight. Consistent trend. Anything right on stumps was hard to put away. Batters are very watchful. Anything there. This time a big heave in. Fine leg out in the deep for 1. You see Lacia clearing that front foot. And something that could be troublesome if the ball continues to swing. And if it swings back in, we're consistently moving that front foot outside the line. This one pushed out wide, and is a wide. Just trying to keep it out of the arc of Gandanala. Trying to make a reach for and see if she'll edge it to backward point. This one angled back in and just hit straight back. And they're going to take the run. And he's going to be gone. I'm not sure what the thought process there from the 2 batters in the middle. Gandanala hit it straight back. It ricocheted off of the hand of Moosa Chowdhury. Broke the stumps to begin with. Then Lacia Mulapudi, she took off. Gandanala responds and takes off herself. But Moosa Chowdhury with the presence of mind to lift up the stumps. Take a look. Ricochets off the hand, straight onto stumps. Not sure what the idea was. To go and try to take that single. Again, a heads-up play here for Moosa Chowdhury. To just lift up the stumps with the ball in hand. That'll be the 2nd wicket to fall here in the 5th over. 15 for a loss of 2. That wicket will bring out Snigdha Paul. Who again showed her prowess with the ball today. Now try to show it with the bat now. And she'll start off strike. Gonna be Lasya Malupodi. Again, Moksha Chaudhary. He's just keeping it straight on stumps. Didn't get hit anywhere from there. A good over for the Eastern Conference. 5 overs gone. 15 for the loss of 2. A new bowler brought into the attack here for the final over of the power play. Thought maybe we see some spin, but going to continue with pace. This time Kasturi Vendatanam. And starts off right on stumps. And 2 left-handers in the middle. Snigdapal and Lasya Mulupadi. Snigdapal, as we mentioned earlier. Good bat, good ball. Plays baseball, softball. Has good hand-eye coordination. Again, had a good feature article written about her in the local Dallas newspaper. And from that Dallas area. Exciting stuff to see cricket being picked up by local news agencies all over the country. A growing sport here in the USA. This one pushed out wide and deemed wide there by the umpire. You can see Kasturi just has that away swing that we've seen a lot of bowlers have here today. And so seeing that, she's elected to come over the wicket now. And I like this, pushing it across the left-hander, just making the batter think of that angle. This one is going to be squeezed out to backward point. Good work there, keeps it to no run. In the Western Conference with 2 wickets falling in quick succession. You want to hope to find a way to score some runs now. And this chase was never going to be easy. Still had to score the 95 runs. This one pushed out. And a good delivery this. Just keeping it out of the arc of Snigdapal. Still just the deep third and the deep fine. It's been the same field for all the Pacers, and they've bowled to that field. Haven't given up anything through the leg side or through the offside in front of square. This one comes off the bat, but just a short cover. The captain on the screen, Geetika Kodali. Presumably we'll get to see her bowl later in the day. But good over this for Kasturi. Just giving up 1 run, and that off the extra. This time on the full there from Snigdapal, and they'll get a single to finish the over. Another good over for the Eastern Conference. 6 overs gone, 17 for the loss of 2. And that's the end of the power play. Again, just 17 runs. A sluggish start for the Western Conference. Needs 78 from the next 14 overs. Good news for them, it's just a run a ball. Bad news is they only found one run off the bat in the previous over. And we'll see the insertion of spin. Bhumika Badiraju. Part of that USA Under-19 team that took on the Windward Islands. As Shivnarayan Chandrapal said earlier, a statement win, showing the rest of the West Indies that they're a quality side. And there's the first wicket. Snigdha Paul just looking to pull this one away. Just sat up and all she could do was find Lisa Ramjit standing there short mid-wicket. Takes a quick catch, and Bhumika, who was the number 4 wicket taker in the Windward Islands, gets to number 1. And take a look at this. Not the best of deliveries. Sat up, was there to hit. But all Snigdha Paul could do was find the outreach hands of Lisa Ramjit. Again, you can see the disappointment on her face. She knew that one should have been sent over the top. And the third wicket falls for the Western Conference. Bhumika, who took 4 wickets in her 3 innings last week. Again, her first delivery, first wicket. And we'll bring out the captain, Sindhu Sriharsa. USA national team player in international cricket. Scored 159 runs across her 11 innings. Has a high score of 42. Also scored 68 runs in her 3 innings last week at the women's regionals here in Moosa Stadium in Pearland, Texas. And this one, she gets off the mark straight away. Or has she? No, she hasn't. Lassia Malupadi couldn't get back in her crease. Quick work there from the Eastern Conference. Take a look at this. Pushed into the offside here from the captain. Lassie was slow off the mark. Throw comes in quickly. Collection was clean. Against Sindhu. Was off straight away. Lassia just sluggish to get going. Clean take. Takes the bails off quickly. Bat was never grounded. And the 4th wicket goes. Back-to-back wickets for the Eastern Conference. And the wheel is just starting to fall off for the Western. Again, Sindhu Sriharsa just looking for that quick single. And Lassia Malupadi never took that start, was just rooted in her crease. By the time she realized that she had to go, it's too late. And the throw came in so cleanly from Disha Dhingra. Straight to the hands of Mitali Partwardhan, who wasted no time whipping off the bails. And that'll bring in the new bat, Anika Kolan. And she'll look to stabilize and bring things back into the right hand of the Western Conference. But on a team hat trick now, the Eastern Conference. And they'll be denied that team hat trick. Flies this one all the way up, but again, straight to mid-wicket. And we've seen the pitch offer good service to the spinners. Think about Saya Uni The leggy who got a lot of spin and bounce. You can see early on Bhumika already getting some spin. As this one is up in the air, it's going to fall away from the fielder at gully and just be one. So we get our first look at Anika Colin, who debuted last year against Brazil at just 15 years of age. Another one of these women from California. This one's pushed into that gap there, third man. Can allow them to get away for one. Another good over for the Eastern Conference. 2 runs, 2 wickets from it. 7 overs gone, 19 for the loss of 4. So as we head into this 8th over, we'll see Kasturi Vendatanam continue with the ball. Anika Golden will be back on strike. And at just her tender age of 15, her 4 innings of international cricket, scored 61 runs. And she also does keep. She's a very promising prospect for the USA. Okay, now just 16 years of age here in this Women's Nationals. This one is pushed into the leg side. As they'll come back for 2. Nika Colin at the striker's end. Excuse me, at the non-striker's end at the moment. Sindhu Sriharsa gets that one off her legs. This one just staying low. Good adjustment there at the end. Could have easily gone back through the gate. We've seen a couple times on this wicket. Just stay a fraction low. That one doing so, but it was fended away. Kept it away from her stumps there. Sindhu, the Western Conference, can't afford to lose another wicket. This one not deemed wide from the umpire, much to the dismay of Sindhu Sriharsa. Again, is going to need a captain innings today. 74 runs needed off 76 deliveries. So still under on a ball, with just 6 wickets in hand. Captain will have to lead from the front. Guess offside and no run to be had. Not wanting to risk another run out. And another good over here from Kasturi. Gave up just 2 in her first. Has given up just 2 here with 2 balls left in her second. This one going to stray well down the leg side and going to be wide. Again, you can see that angle from Kasturi. That's why she's been so effective. That time just straying too far. We've seen her a couple of times get straight. So that's when she's been hit for runs. Anytime she's drifted onto the pads. And she does have a deep mid-wicket for that reason. Just offering up a little protection. This one pushed out wide on the offside. Just an overcorrection that. See, Itika Kodali, the captain, just offering some help to Kasuri, who just pulled back-to-back wides. Game before this, just giving up 4 runs off the bat. This looks so sharp. This time met on the full, but just met to short cover. A little bit of a misfield, going to allow them to come away for 1. Against Sindushi Harsa, she's quick between the wickets. That time the call was clear. Nika Golan ready to go in the getaway. And going to be key for the Western Conference. How often can they find those singles? Again, boundaries a dime a dozen at the moment. This one is just pushed away, and again, straight to short cover. And that'll do it for 8 overs, 24 for a loss of 4. Bhumika Bhadraju coming back in for a second over. And that time finds a length. And that's a good length to have. Gave up 2 runs in her first over, took a wicket. Also a run out. As this one is driven and nowhere to go. This is just sharp stuff again from the Eastern Conference. They've clearly had a plan put in place. And at the moment they're just bowling to it and they're executing. This one pushed into the offside, wants the quick single, and they'll get it. Unable to pick it up cleanly. Not sure if she had. It would have been a run out anyway. Sindushi Harsa so quick between the wickets. We'll bring Anika Golan on strike. As this one is cut, and it's just going to be to the fielder. Bowling to her field at the moment, Bhumika. In a packed offside ring. No one in the deep on the offside. Just the one deep mid wicket. Everywhere is open, daring the batters to go over the top. And this time just works straight back to Bhumika. Again, she offers good flight, but gets good dip as well. Ball just dips a little quicker than expected, and that one just ended up riding the block hole of Anika Golan. This one she looked to pull. Looks like it's beat the keeper as well. It's going to be a couple of runs off buys. Finally induced that fall shot. Unable to corral it in. And that'll do it. 9 overs gone. 27 for the loss of 4. We welcome you back here for the 10th over of the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. We're streaming live from Moosa Stadium courtesy of our streaming sponsor, Smart Choice Houston. As Disha Dhingra comes in to bowl her first over here in the 10th. Again, continuing with pace. Dug in, and again, just worked to that cover point fielder. That region, been again, not giving up anything easy at the Eastern Conference. Keeping these nice and tight. Daring the batters to do something different. No fielders in the deep on the offside. This one just pushed out, and it's going to be out to third man. Just one out to third. Again, the two fielders in the deep, but not in the power play, but there's only two, a deep third and a deep mid-wicket. And that's just because of the way the Eastern Conference has been all over the Western. This one cut, and it's going to be cut between backward point and third man. And they're going to come away with 2 runs from that. Viable runs for the Western Conference. Again, they're going to need them any way they can get them. It's just 65 needed from 63 deliveries. So game not out of hand, and 2 very experienced bat. This partnership is going to have to be everlasting, and Western Conference would hope it sees them over the line. This one pushed well wide there from Disha Dhingra. Just trying to dig it in short. This one pushed into the offside again. They're finding that gap in the offside. Something they've struggled to do in the previous couple of overs. Just able to milk some runs. Again, it's not out of hand, this run chase. 63 from 62 now. This one again pushed into the offside, but found the fielder. It's good fielding this from the Eastern Conference. They've been tight. The throws have been fired in. For the most part, pretty accurate. 1 delivery left in this 10th over. Again, 63 runs required here for the Western Conference. This one dug in and going to be wide, and buys there. Just fell short of the wicket keeper. Allows him to sneak away for 2 off a wide. And he'll bring out Anika Goland on strike to face what should be the final delivery of this 10th over. Another wide here from Disha Dhingra. Just struggling with her line. Just has to find a way to close this over out. Captain Gitika Godali, a pace bowler in her own right. Just having a word with her bowler. Just trying to tell her to get a little straighter. Does get a little straighter. Hit straight to short cover. Do it. 10 overs gone, 35 for the loss of 4. Welcome back here into the 11th over. And I'm joined by a very special guest. It's Mr. Bert Cockley, who's acting as a coach today, but is a fitness coach in his own right, looking to take the fitness of the entirety of USA cricket to another level. Bert, welcome into the box.
Yeah, g'day, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to see you as you see us on the comm mic. Again, Bert making me look a little tiny individual. But Bert, you've been around a lot of USA cricketers, you know, whether it be at men's or the women's side, and you know, have worked with a lot of them on their fitness. You know, what do you think fitness? How big do you think fitness is in today's game?
Yeah, it's massive. It's a massive part of the modern day game. Years ago it didn't get taken into consideration that much, but modern day game, the athletes are much better. The speed, their strength, their power. You just see it in the modern day T20 game, how far the players are hitting the balls and their athleticism in the field. Yeah, it's much better today.
We see Tarnam Chopra being brought into the attack. And you've worked with a lot of these USA cricketers up close and in person. What are you really looking for and looking to do with each cricketer?
Yeah, just trying to see them get better, really. It's just constant improvement, working on all the basic qualities of athleticism, so their speed, their strength, their power, their fitness. And we're just constantly working on trying to improve those qualities to support them in being able to go out and play cricket and, score runs, take wickets, be better in the field.
Well, there you go, a catch right away as you're talking about being better in the field. Anika Kolan just chipping one up, and Tarnam Chopra in her third delivery takes her first wicket of the day. And another straightforward catch out into the deep. That'll bring the fifth wicket up for the Western Conference. And you talk about increasing the speed and power of everybody in this U.S. cricket setup. How do you look to do that? Is it gym work? Is it running out at, running miles at a time? Or is it different for every individual?
For the most part, everyone's on a similar kind of program. Like developing speed, developing power, developing strength. The concepts are all pretty similar. It's just there's some tweaks that we can individualize with. Could be bowlers slightly different than the batters, and the keepers are different as well. So I try to focus on those subgroups and tailor it towards them specifically. But at the moment, I take care of a lot of athletes in the US, so it's to individualize every, how many athletes we have in our program is quite time consuming. So we try and give them a good program to cater all the batters, the bowlers, the fast bowlers, to support them. But for the most part, there's a gym program where they go to the gym and they're working on, all the basic movements. So they're doing squats, they're doing single leg work, they're doing pushing, pulling work, they're doing rotational work, they're doing med ball work to develop power. We can add in a lot of plyometrics and that kind of thing, and then we have another day where it's all speed focused and it's running technique drills and plyometrics, jumping.
As we see Isani Vagela coming out into the middle, a lot of interesting things that you mentioned. I think there's been kind of a revolution in terms of what is done at the gym. We used to see a lot more heavy weights. Now we're seeing more resistance bands, lighter weights, more repetitions. Is that something that you look to preach with your programs?
Yeah, I tend to follow, how do I develop a quality? So how do I develop strength? And there's certain modalities we've got to follow to develop strength. There's modalities we've got to follow to develop power. Same for speed. Same for endurance. High speed running. There's certain things that we've got to follow to develop that system within the body. So within any given week, here I'll give you an example. So within any given week, in season, it's gym Monday, Wednesday, speed day, Tuesday, to tick off just more max velocity work on a Tuesday. Then Thursday is a high speed running day, and that could be your typical 200 meter efforts, 400 meter efforts. It could be 15-second intervals, 30-second intervals, anything like that. So we're working on all the different qualities that that athletes are going to be exposed to within any given game of cricket, and then that's to support them out in the middle here. So the bowler who had here, Geets. So example, Geets, she's going to be running in nearly 15-20 meters at nearly 18-20 kilometers an hour. So within her training, we'll expose her to that type of training to support her run up, so she becomes more efficient, she can bowl longer spells, she doesn't fatigue and her action falls apart. And then in the gym, same thing, we'll do a lot of single leg work, a lot of trunk work, and then that then can transfer back onto the field.
As you mentioned, Gitika Kodale coming in to the attack to bowl, the captain here for the Eastern Conference. You talked about workout for a pace bowler here, but for Sindhu Harsa, who's behind the stumps for a long period of time with the gloves in hand, what specifically do you have wicket keepers do to keep themselves able to keep for long periods of times?
Yeah, so the nature of wicket keeping, they're doing a lot of squats, a lot of lateral movement. So typically a lot more of that stuff. So they'll still do some squat movement, single leg work, but we'll get them doing more lateral work. So a lot of lateral lunges, single leg work. Geets coming into bowl.
And it's been pushed away, but again, good stuff in the field from the Eastern Conference. And they've just been so tight. They've kept all the runs inside that inner ring and not letting anything escape outside. Still, they've only kept 2 fielders out in the deep all day long. Just daring the Western Conference to go over the top.
I'll wait for this ball to be bowled and I'll continue. No run. Yeah, so do a lot of single leg, like lateral work, and then do a lot of lateral jumping work. A lot of jumping, skipping, plyometrics, lateral. So then that supports her in that wicket keeping position and being able to explode out of that deep squat position and to move side to side.
As this one is finally lifted over the top of the inside circle. And it's going to race all the way to the boundary for 4. A much-needed boundary for the Western Conference. It's Asani Vagello who's able to lift it over the top. She met it on the full. She's got just a couple of bounces over the rope. 4 runs for the Western Conference.
It's going to be an interesting run chase. And very doable. 6.5 and over.
Yeah, and then increasing batting power. You heard Shivnarayan Chanderpal talk about that. What are specific things that you do to increase all batters, but these women's cricket programs to increase their power to hit the ball down the ground and clear these boundary ropes?
Yeah, so same thinking pattern. It's developing power globally around the body. So you build strength, and then underpinning those things is power work. So box jumps, broad jumps, a lot of med ball work, jumping, throwing, slamming with the med ball, wall passes, things along those lines. And then those qualities, once the body's strong and powerful, it can transfer then into a batting swing. And then it becomes specific, and then you just got to transfer that into batting technique. So the things you do in the gym transfer over as long as they are practicing power hitting drills, and it can transfer into hitting the ball. So it's not too complicated. It's doing the basics in the gym really well, week in, week out for a long period of time.
And so as we see a spinner introduce Starnam Chopra, what would you have a spinner do differently to maybe a pace bowler, right? Geetika obviously running in for a much longer ways away. What is it specifically for a spinner coming into the gym?
Yeah, the spinners are funny. Like you see here, it's just walk in and a hop and a skip and a bowl. So the demands of spin bowling isn't the same demands as a fast bowler, pace bowler, as a wicketkeeper, as a power batter. But still the same concepts apply. You still want to develop the player's general athleticism to be better in the field. And so all those qualities, their strength, their power, their speed, their endurance, will then lift their game to another level when they're in the field. They can maneuver better. They can hit the ball harder. They'll be able to throw the ball harder. So if you see countries like Australia, West Indies, England, they're full-time athletes and they're in the gym 3 days a week, and they've been a part of a program from when they were teenagers, getting structured training in high-performance centres.
As this one is whipped into the leg side, going to find deep mid-wicket, just going to be one.
And they're a part of these programs from when they were a young age. They've had all this time in the system to develop as cricketers. They're developing on, their athleticism in the gym. They're developing their skills in the nets. They're developing their fielding with specific fielding coaches, batting coaches, bowling coaches, wicket-keeping coaches. And so, byproduct of just being a part of that system, they're better for it. And that's something that we're trying to create here. And because we are a remote program, we don't quite have that system in place yet, where we're with these athletes every day of the week in the gym with them, in the nets. We would love that, but we're not quite there yet. So we have to think outside the box with how we support our athletes with remote programming, and we've got some things in place to support them with. We have strength apps that we support them with. Locally they go to their academies and clubs and they train at, and from our end, from a governing body, we'd like them to fulfill the program that we give them, so then when they do come back to the national level, they're better for it and they can compete at that high level against international cricketers.
And there is a 6th wicket to go. Bhumika Badiraju strikes once again. This is her 2nd wicket. Just enticed Sriharsha to come down the track. Misses it altogether, and it goes to crash on the off stump. The Western Conference, they lose wicket number 6.
Well bowled, that.
Yeah, just flighted it up again. Just take a look at the replay. Bhumika offers that flight. And Sindhu was well down the track. Looked to play a big swipe across the line. Just missing it altogether. Some turn on offer. And Bhumika Badiraju. You can see how excited she is. Guess the captain of the Western Conference to go. 6 wickets down. 44 runs on the board. Bhumika Badiraju just taking wicket number 6 for the Eastern Conference. And we'll get you the name of the new bat in a minute here. Again, still Bert Cockley with me in the box. Again, you talked about being a remote program. What kind of, you talk about the apps. What kind of drills do you have these women who are part of the USA women's program, doing at home to keep themselves in shape once they get back to these kinds of level?
Yeah, so after this, 3 days, coaches will come together and we'll put a program in place to lead into. Ball's bowled. We'll put a program in place for the next event series coming up and start gearing them up towards whatever's coming up on the schedule. And so it's all dependent upon event coming up, series coming up, and we just work within around those, scheduling of the program. And so right now they're in game mode. It's all about games, and then post this, we'll get them geared up for the next events.
So obviously we have the Global T20 qualifiers coming up in September, and you talk about game mode at the moment. How are you just looking to prepare these women for the heat and the intensity of being in the UAE in this coming September?
Yeah, so we're about 6 weeks out, and so post this, that'll give us about 5.5 weeks of solid program. So it'll be pretty solid gym, running, speed work.
Good work out there in the field. Just going to keep it to 2 runs off the bat of Isani Vagela.
Yeah, so it'll be a solid 5.5 week program, loading them up. So the biggest thing with going into those series is just getting their work capacities up and their loads up so they can withstand the heat, the amount of bowling that they're going to be bowling, the batters also time in the middle. So it's about exposing them to the demands that they're going to be facing in that series, and then trying to get them ready for that in their training. And then the heat. This is great being in Texas. It's hot. It's 90, 95 degrees today, and it's humid. It's great conditions to expose them in. They've got to be thinking. How am I going about my games? What's my plans? How am I executing that? There's physical stress with the heat. They're physically tired. There's going to be some fatigue, and then they've got to try and overcome that and think about how they're going to win the game of cricket. How am I getting my runs? How am I taking my wickets? How am I bowling my dot balls? All of those things that come into account in a skill-based game add on to that hot, humid. It's uncomfortable, but they've got to find a way of overcoming that. So being here is great experience for them, just to get a feel for what it's going to be like in 6 weeks in Abu Dhabi for the.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, the heat is going to be there and it's going to take a toll on your body. How have you prepared, the USA women's team for that condition with, the food and nutrition that they're going to get, the hydration they have to go through prior to those games?
Yeah, good question. We're a unique environment. We have, we have a lot of Southeast Asian and the diets that our athletes eat. So we got a lot of vegetarian, non-vegetarians. So we've got to cater to those athletes and work with them on their particular diet. So based on that, we just work with them individually on what that may be. So if they need to increase their protein intake for whatever reason, then we'll support them, give them suggestions, work them in and around that. Protein is important for muscle recovery, repair, and growth. Same as carbohydrates. We give them suggestions on what they should be eating, hydration as well in these hot conditions, the amount of fluids they should be drinking, electrolytes, those kind of things. So we work with them.
As we see a close call from around out there, we've seen some risky singles all throughout the day, this time safe in our crease.
Yes, we work with them all on all those aspects and try to make sure we cover all the boxes with what they're going to be exposed to, and ensure that when they do get there, we've covered everything. So we're not getting there and talk to athletes about, what are you doing for post-match recovery with your food intake and what's your hydration, and so we like to cover everything well before we get there, and then support them once we get there and have plans in place.
Yeah, again, I've heard a lot of times what you do in the gym is important, but it's the food and nutrition that kind of brings out the results. As this one's played straight back down the ground, fielder coming there, and a good catch taken. Shani Vagela has been showing signs of aggression, looked to take this one straight back down the ground, but all she could do was pick out Aditi Chudasama out in the deep. And the 7th wicket goes, and the second here for Taranam Chopra. Again, Shani Vagela had started getting some flow, was hitting the ball down the ground, and all she could do on this occasion, found the toe into the bat, would just pick out Aditi Chudasama, who takes a good catch running in. And just take another look at this, just the toe end of the bat. And as soon as she took the catch, you could see it's a good sharp catch running in from the middle. So Bert, obviously, you spend a lot of time in the gym with the nutrition program. One final thought here. Where do you think the percentage is in terms of how an athlete builds and gets to the next level between food, nutrition, and what they do in terms of working out and things like that?
Yeah, it's just balance, and I'm a big advocate of just habits and routines. So if an athlete can have a really good set of habits and routines in and around their nutrition, what they're eating daily, how they're fueling their bodies and what they're putting into their body, is going to benefit them with their training, the quality of them training, the intensity of which they can train at, how quickly they can recover post-training or games. So it's not one's better than the other. It's a matter of all being done, well and consistently, and then building good habits and routines with that, and then it just becomes a part of an athlete's life. It's all it all works in together. So you can go to the gym 5 days a week and eat a really poor diet, and you're going to struggle recovering. Muscle growth won't be the same, and it's going to impact their performance. So we just push. They're all important. Work on those habits and routines, and just keep making good habits. And it makes it a lot easier then when they're on tour, because it is a lot busier, it is a lot harder. So if they have those things in place, it's just another day really. They finish the game, they eat really well, they hydrate, they go to sleep early. All those things, have a good breakfast, fuel up, hydrate, get to the game, and it just all flows into each other.
You see a dot ball to finish off this 15th over. Bert Cockley, he's building this U.S. women's team to be the strongest side in the world, the fittest side in the world. Bert, thank you so much for your time here in the commentary box. And, again, we'll see you back here later throughout this week.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And that's 15 overs gone. 55 for the loss of 7. "15 overs gone, 55 runs on the board, 7 wickets down. It's Uzma Iftihar set to face her first delivery here against Aditi Chudasama. Just looking to run that one through third man, and equation is 40 from 29 now for the Western Conference. Again, did all the right stuff with the ball, just with the bat, hasn't gone their way. And Uzma Iftihar just struggling to get off the mark here. Chasing after the wide delivery, and the umpire elects not to give that one wide. I think it's just because that movement moves Iftihar over to the wide line. This one pushed out wide and will be called wide. Just trying to keep it out the arc of Uzma Iftihar is Aditi Chudasama. And this one is cut through and just cut to backward point. It's been sharp stuff here in the field from the Eastern Conference. Again, all of these women trying to make the USA women's national team. A lot of them are on the under-19 side. As this one is taken into the leg side. Has she picked out the fielder? No, couple of bounces. Just going to be run, and finally off the mark is Uzma Iftihar. Took that one from really the wide line to the leg side. I think just more of a desperation stroke that. Really tight stuff with the ball from the Eastern Conference. They've just kept everything right outside stumps. The fielding has been good. No more than 2 fielders out all day long. As this one is worked into the leg side straight to mid-wicket. And a quick over this. Just 2 runs coming from it. 16 overs gone. 57 for the loss of 7. Dharnam Chopra to continue. And Uzma Iftihar gets a quick single to bring Yashaditi Tegi on to strike. And in the Eastern Conference, just with the ball, they got off to a great start. And now for the Western Conference, it's 38 from 24. Some boundaries are going to be needed. Just seen the one off the bat of Sindhu Sriharsa. Comes down the wicket this time and just yorks herself. Good adjustment there from Taranam Chopra. Saw the movement. Didn't allow Yashaditi to get underneath it and send it down the ground. Usma Iftihar, she's got a packed leg side field, long gone and a deep mid wicket. This one just ricochets onto pads. Chance of a run out. Direct hit. And Yashaditi has to go. Good work there with the gloves. Had one stump to aim at. Underhands it. Just a couple of feet away from the wicket. Gets it to go. A little nonchalant celebration here. Again, coming off the pad of Usma Iftihar. Yashaditi just froze there and started to go. Again, underhand, straight onto stumps, and Yashaditi knew straight away. Should be a good angle this. And just comes off the pads here, and Usma Iftihar was very eager to get going. Clean pickup, underhand throw, not even in frame. Sharp work there, and the 8 wicket goes here for the Western Conference. 59 for the loss of 8. This one nearly going through the gate of Sayuni. As she comes into the middle. Again, we've seen turn on offer for the spinners. Starting with Sayuni herself. That one nearly spun back on her. This time full and straight right on the Yorker length. And it's been a rapid collapse here from the Western Conference. This one's going to be wide there. Just gets caught in the arm of Taranam Chopra. A good strong start here for the Eastern Conference as they look to go 1-up in the series and take revenge for what happened last year. This one's hit straight back. The Western Conference claimed the cup last year, and the Eastern Conference looking to avenge those woes. 17 overs gone, 60 for the loss of 8. Seventeen overs gone, 60 for the loss of 8. As Disha Dhingra. Excuse me, it's not going to be Disha Dhingra, it's Jessica Wilathagamua. To come into bowl to Usma Iftihar. And nowhere to go for Usma. She's just been looking to bump and run, but she's just been bumping it straight to the fielders. Jessica just angling it in to the right-hander. Again, protection of deep mid-wicket. And long gone. This one's just tucked into the leg side, but short move wicket's got it. Eastern Conference has been all over the batters for the Western Conference, no matter which one it was. Never allowed any of them to get going. As this one struck Uzma square on the pads, trying to make some movement, trying to take Jessica off her line. The equation just starting to slip a little bit, 35 from 16. This one is flighted up, and it's just chipped past the outstretched arm of Jessica. Just going to be one. To a long off. And don't go anywhere. We still have another match later in the day, where the Western Conference will look to rebound and try to level the series out. This one just squirts off an inside edge. Have the second match of this Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship later today, and it'll be streaming live from Moosa Stadium. Courtesy of our sponsor, Smart Choice Houston. And how about this? Jessica crashes straight on to off stump. Uzma Iftihar tried to take it down the leg side, but all she did was open up her stumps, and Jessica has been so sharp. Picks up her third over. And that'll do it for 18. 62 for the loss of 9. And just take a look at this. It's full, it's straight. Right on off. And Uzma, who's just been eyeing that long on boundary. All she could do was clear out space for the ball to crash on the off stump. Dead center. And just try to come down the track and take it straight over the top. But just opens up her stumps. And Jessica doesn't miss. 9th wicket falls for the Western Conference. It'll bring out Suhani Tadani as Bhumika Badiraju comes back with the ball in hand. Full and straight, pushed into the leg side. Going to be one out to long on. So we'll get to see Suhani Tadani for the first time today. With the bat in hand again. And over and some change to be bowled. 63 runs on the board. 9 wickets down. Again, it's 33 and 12. I think the equation is out of reach at the moment. It's just about playing out all 20. This one pushed and just pushed to the fielder. The Eastern Conference has been bowling to the plan all day long. It's kept things nice and tight, and looks like the fitness already paying off. Able to bowl in these spells in these conditions. This one is taken into the leg side. Going to be one out to long gone again. Bhumika Badiraj, you're looking for her third wicket of the day. Just giving up 9 runs. This one's flighted all the way up. It's an outside edge. And I think it just fell short of the fielder there. Third man, nearly the wicket Bhumi was looking for. Nearly the final wicket to end the day's play. This one spun in on a uni, and they're going to go ahead and get one. A risky single that. And with one ball left in the 19th, Boom's got one last opportunity to take one wicket. And she'll have Suhani Tadani on strike. That one spun through, but it was just too wide. Gonna miss off stump. 19 overs gone, 65 for the loss of 9. And there you see none other than Peter Della Penna on your screen, taking all the lovely photos you'll see out of Moosa Stadium. He's been out there all day with the floppy hat on, the iconic look of Peter Della Penna. I think it's safe to say he's been covering USA cricket longer than I've been alive. This one full straight, hits the Yorker right on the toes of Sayuni. In the Eastern Conference, just 5 deliveries away from going 1 up. And that delivery stayed low and looked like it's come off the bottom of the bat and just caught Sayuni up on her head as well. Interesting way that ball elected to bounce. Like I was saying, the Eastern Conference will go 1 up. Avenge their loss last year. As another Yorker's dug out there from Sayuni. The Western Conference will have a chance to answer, though, later today, as we'll see match number 2 here of the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. Of 1 delivery left in this final over. And a comprehensive victory here for the Eastern Conference. And a swing and miss, and that'll end the day. The Eastern Conference, they'll find a win here, keeping the Western Conference to 65 runs, losing 9 wickets in their 20 overs. A dominating day for the Eastern Conference. You take a look at the batting card for the Western Conference, you'll just notice no one able to advance to double digits. Mahika Kandalala, 5 from 13. Sungita Chandreskar, 4 from 9. Lasya Malupadi, 1 off 8. Snigdha Paul, 1 from 7. Sindhu Sriharsa, 9 from 23. Anika Golan, 4 from 11. Isani Vagela, 8 from 13. Yashaditi Teki, 5 from 8. Usma Iftihar, 3 from 12. 3 for 13 for Sayuni. And Suhani Tadani, 1 off 3. The last 2 going not out. But the bowling scorecard is a much rosier picture for the Eastern Conference. Moksha Chaudhary, 3 overs, 11 runs. Jessica Wilathagamu, 4 overs, 6 runs, a maiden, 2 wickets. Kasturi Vendatam, 2 overs, 7 runs. Bhumika Badaraju, 4 overs, 10 runs, 2 wickets. Disha Dingra, 1 over, 8 runs. Tharuram Chopra, 4 overs, 13 runs and 2 wickets. Geetika Kodali had an over with 6 runs, and Aditi Chuma, an over and 2 runs given up. The Eastern Conference with a dominating display here in match 1 in the Sistar Mortgage USA Cricket Women's National Championship. Streaming live from Moosa Stadium, courtesy of our streaming sponsor, Smart Choice Houston. Don't go anywhere, folks. We have match number 2 coming later today here from Pearland, Texas. I'm Om Patel signing off from now. We'll see you back here in just a couple of hours' time.